This girl wants to meet you again at the cathedral. I wonder whenever that mysterious priest will be there. You've started to look at the churches differently since your last encounter with Benoit. You're not sure what happened inside, but it was unavoidably real. You felt it. When Benoit mentioned that being in the presence of a Father Anthony's faith would eventually kill someone like you, an undead being, you believed him. Actually, does that happen? I'm not sure about that. It doesn't seem to be very common, though. In New York you pass thousands of people every night, and none of them have made you feel so afraid and insignificant. If you were to encounter someone like Father Anthony in a subway or a nightclub, you would know. I would be very interested in seeing someone like that in a nightclub. There are many churches in the 5 boroughs, and you're pretty sure most of them don't contain someone whose faith can touch you in this way. Yet you've become wary. They just might. Still, tonight the cathedral looks as before, a striking landmark acting as a symbol of faith for people who have no idea what vampires exist in their midst. It's so bloody, it's so red, it's kind of beautiful. For them, questions of faith and myth are theoretical or philosophical. For you, those same questions suddenly define the meaning of your new existence. You sneak into the cathedral like an old hand, as if going to church had been a regular part of your life. Inside, the cathedral is almost deserted. You're not sure if you'll be meeting Benoit alone. The idea of feeling Father Anthony's faith on your undead flesh freezes you with terror. Benoit is waiting for you in the front pews of, I don't know what that is, of a cathedral in the exact same spot where you saw Father Anthony. Worried you approach, but you don't feel the touch of faith what shook you before. Benoit nods as you sit next to him in the pew. Pew pew pew. Aren't you worried? I have so many questions, many candidly wondered what we are. Okay, so he's very pretentious and philosophical, so I think if we go for this, that's the best outcome we can get. However, I am curious what will happen if I try to screw it up. Let's go with aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about meeting here? What if your friend priest returns? Don't worry, he's not here tonight. You've had some time to think. I'm guessing you found the touch of Father Anthony faith hard to ignore. For most people, God's presence is a question of faith. When I talk with Father Anthony, it feels like proof. Benoit is fervent and tense as he speaks. It's clear these questions have consumed his existence. Perhaps they'll consume yours too. I can't stop thinking about divine purpose. This is kindred culture. Actually, yeah, what do they believe? What do the kindred of a Camarillo believe? The old ones. It's true the elders are not always so good at teaching their children. Maybe Camarillo would function better if we all knew these stories. Benoit looks around reflectively to make sure nobody's listening. There are only a few people in the enormous cathedral, and they don't seem to be interested in 2 loners murmuring to each other in the front pew. It might seem like ancient history, things that happened thousands of years ago, but time works differently for our kind. If the stories are true, I can't say that. I don't know how to say it. Still in existence who walked the earth when Jesus was alive. The only problem is what old vampires lie. They adjust history to suit their egos. You can talk to different elders. Surely something other than known. Let's focus on what we can verify. Yeah, let's go with that. Shouldn't we focus on what we can verify here and now? Our blood, the effects of Father Anthony's belief? I suppose that would be the scientific approach. Still, I can't let go of the idea that the old stories will tell us something. This is how the story goes. God cursed Cain as punishment for the murder of Abel. Cain walked a night shunned by humanity and drank blood to sustain himself. Even from the point of our origin, we are damned. However, the story becomes really interesting when we move forward. Cain creates more of our kind, often referred to as the 2nd generation. We lived in the first city, later Cardanak, ruling openly over the city's human inhabitants. I see the first city as Cain's redemption. Cursed by the god to wander, he remade himself as a ruler and a lawgiver, acting as an immortal shepherd to humanity. It only started to go wrong when the 2nd generation begat the 3rd, and vampires started to run amok. So the 3rd generation, what happened to the first city? Vampires ruled openly over humans? Yes, according to the stories, Cain was a benevolent and just ruler, using his vast knowledge to bring a new age of prosperity. Of course, those stories were written by vampires. After the first city, Cain largely departs the story. Perhaps he was disheartened by the depredations of his descendants. The antediluvians went on to build a second city in imitation of the first, but it's doubtful their rule was just. There are many people moving in the cathedral, and both you and Benoit have made sure none get close enough to hear you talk. Many of the people you've seen here have been elderly or disabled, so it's not surprising that you hear the squeak of a wheelchair. What alarms you more is what you overhear an older woman speaking with a Russian accent mention Father Anthony. Let's find Father Anthony and see if he can help us. From what I've heard, he's an exceptional man. For a second I forgot how Russian is supposed to sound. You turn to look and see two men and a woman. All three are in their 50s, clearly well worn by life. One of the men pushes a woman in the wheelchair. She's dark-haired and intense, seemingly only half in this world.
Yeah, exceptional, but he doesn't like moles.
The speaker is short of a man, more animated and worried. He was probably a strong man in his youth, perhaps even an athlete. His voice carries a mid-western accent. Fuck, I keep forgetting how Russian sounds.
We're only interested in whenever he likes blank bodies.
You and Benoit look at each other. This is bad news. Whoever these three are, they can't be good for you. They need to get out. Let's meet outside. Look out right past the mortals. Move discreetly to the side. Well, blood is not calling to me, so might as well go right past them. I'm curious what'll happen. You decide to stand up and walk right past the three mortals, hoping they don't realize what you are. Pretending to be the mortal is a second nature to all vampires, or at least it should be. Besides, not long ago you were a perfectly ordinary human. You adopt the oblivious smile of someone who doesn't suspect what you and anything might be amiss in God's house, and take a few steps toward the aisle. Now that you get a better look at them, the three mortals approaching you have an aura of experience about them. They look like they've seen a thing or two and emerged alive. Both men have stubbles and overgrown haircuts of those whose lives are consumed by an obsession. The woman looks at you casually and stares. She has a grey quilt on her knees. You never met a mortal who knew how to deal with a world of kindred. Something tells you what these three just might. Panicking, you turn around and start walking briskly toward the side of the cathedral, away from the three. You don't want to attract attention to yourself, so you pick up a brochure detailing how you can donate money to the cathedral. You pretend to study the leaflet, and hope the three turn their attention away from you. It seems interminable, but you know that you can't appear hurried. Be casual and you'll make it out. After a while you sneak a glance and see the three of them where you were just a short while ago, around the front pew. Discreetly you tuck away the brochure and stroll casually down the side aisle towards the exit. That was a close call. Fuck you, Benoit, you're quite fast. Who were those three? Did you recognize them? I might have, I'm not sure. Let's talk of a few tenacious vampire hunters living in the city. One of them is supposed to be a woman in a wheelchair. For a second Benoit looks as if he was wondering whenever he should say something. There's one thing I've always wondered about in the story of Cain. The traditions of a Camarilla put a lot of faith in the relationship between sire and child. You're supposed to follow the example of your maker, yet Cain didn't really seem to care for vampires he embraced. Did he think it was a mistake to create our kind? Messiah left me. We should make our own way in the world. Can you care what Cain thinks? When a being that powerful exists, you kinda naturally assume what he thinks is important. Let's get at this. We should make our own way in the world. All this talk of Cain, sires, and childer makes me think we're bound to the hierarchy forever. We are, my friend, we are. Unless you want to go anarch. You know I'm Sophie's child and you're her protege. It's amazing to share an appreciation for mythologies of our kind, considering Sophie has little interest in question of the spirit. You stared at Benoit, you knew there was something he wasn't telling you, but in all the talk about Cain in the first city, you forgot about it. No, the only question is, what does this mean? Does Sophie know her child is talking to you? Probably not. Don't hold it against me, but I've been finding some pleasure in seeing you suffer the effects of Father Anthony's faith. I suppose that's a demon in me. Honestly, that was pretty interesting to me too, so... I'm kinda cool with this. I'm not the enemy. Well, he's not really acting like an enemy, so that's just a dumb thing to say. Let's go with that's not cool. Fuck you. That was not okay. Do it again and I'll make sure you regret it. You'll get over it. You know, we should meet again. We've talked so much about myth, but maybe that's cowardly when the reality of faith is right in front of us. I'll introduce you to Father Anthony. You're not unsure whenever that's a good idea. Bennett walks away and you follow his example, not wanting to hang around the cathedral any longer. I'm assuming that's only half a night, right? Okay, I'm not looking forward to this and I might need to censor the video. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go for this again. I'm supposed to meet here. Okay, well, last time I definitely said this, so let's go with this. If I told you I was supposed to meet Hope here, what would you say to me?
Probably tell you I'm surprised. People are usually far more discreet about seeing her.
Man slowly takes a drag from his e-cig, sizing you up and down in silence. After a long awkward moment he raises his voice again.
Come, right this way.
He heads back into the cafe and you follow his lead. You make your way through the space of computers no one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles or games of Fortnite. It's a common sight, one you wouldn't have paid much attention to a few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. Would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? It unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets you inside. You two swiftly make your way through a labyrinth of sterile grey corridors, taking confusing twists and turns. Feels like you're traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Eventually you reach your destination. Your guide motions you to enter a dark room with a lone source of pale light, a computer screen in the distance beckoning you to come closer. As you do, you hear doors shutting behind your back and a short chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? Nothing else to do but sit in a chair in front of a computer. The monitor displays a modern chat application. I'm really not looking forward to what's in this corner. The cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After a brief consideration you type in a random string of characters. If the QWERTY turns out to have been taken by someone else, you settle on QWERTY UEOP. It works. You know, I would have went with something just in the middle of a keyboard. Like... After a few seconds, the chat window opens, messages start appearing on the screen in quick succession. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna read that. Identify yourself within 2 minutes or get banned. Chat goes silent, everyone seemingly waiting for you to say something before proceeding. This must be a close-knit group. Better to say something before we kick you out. Who are you people? I just logged in here. Who are you guys? This again, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it says all the same things. As far as I know. You know what? I might try this. We've had enough of these trash-talking randoms. Time to teach them some respect. Your blood fires up, ancient powers start coursing through your veins, fingers tapping the keyboard buttons on their own. But you people better stay quiet if you know what's good for you. You have no idea who you're messing with. You will obey me. The chat goes silent once again and then it explodes.
What am I looking at here? Oh, lol.
Okay, stop scrolling, I'm trying to read.
Oh shit, watch out, he started typing properly.
So glad I decided to lock it earlier today.
You come down here, you bastard.
Would be pissed if I missed this.
You know he means business.
And one guy is just laughing. Guess your powers don't work online. Yep, I expected that would happen. I would be really confused if that did work. Go figure. You know your chicks would turn blood red right now if they still could. I don't know, man. I kinda like it. Yeah. I'm sorry to inform you about the diary, bitch. You're getting blah blah blah. Yeah, all the same. And Hope is trying to kill me. You've come to run chat room, motherfucker! A ridiculous whisper rings out next to your ear and the grip under your head gets even tighter. You start struggling, but even with your newfound supernatural strength, you're having trouble breaking out. This isn't a normal human you're dealing with. Last words? Chat room success. Good luck, I can't die. Just because you're kindred? Got some bad news for you. A hand holding your chin shifts its position slightly. Don't struggle, or I will break your windpipe, or my phone, which would end even worse for you. Sounds of a camera shutter and lights flashing. Did we just take some selfies with you? Alright, that's not fun. But when you go, then we can talk. Don't do anything stupid, Miss Intruder. Pretty please. A mysterious assailant loosens their grip on you and gently pushes you away. You quickly turn to take a good look at them. Let me just finish this. It's a pale blonde woman in her 20s giving you slightly judgmental looks while rapidly tapping away at her phone screen. First you notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly thrown together from random thrift store finds. I kept trying to say thrift store, I don't know why. We need to take notes of her tattoos. Okay, I'm gonna stop. A sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. At a first glance, it all seems aimless, but it has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Her eyes focus on you for a second. Give you a scare, huh? Sorry, that's what you get for entering a lady's cabin without her permission. And she's back to her phone. With her relatively small build, it's hard to believe you had trouble overpowering her physically. But then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to undead. And even compared to the vampires you've met so far, she comes off as an eccentric, curious presence. She shoots you another glance, noticing you're still cautious of her. Calm yourself, girl. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just, I feel so stupid saying it out loud. A vibe check. Let's go with that. What? Yeah, I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet in a dangerous situation. I'd say I've got a pretty good idea about who you really are. I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you probably heard of me, so I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries. But come to think of it, I might have skipped too many of those. Yeah, she definitely fits the description you were given by Sophie. I still can't believe you got so mad online. You actually tried to use your powers on people talking trash about you from who knows where. Jesus. Anyway, don't worry about the chat, it was all game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later. On the monitor, the chatter continues normally. Your visit is like yesterday's news, no longer relevant to anything. But, well, look, if we're going to talk about you, you should have something to say too. What are you doing here? About time, she asked. Note to self, she really loves the sound of her own voice. Sophie Langley sent me, building a coterie. I need help.
I need help, please help.
Let's go with building a coterie. Coterie? Been there, done that. Not interested. Unless... She takes a closer look at you. Her eyes go wide. Wait. Shit. Are you the new Langley plaything? Word seems to be getting around fast. Of course you are. It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on your servant, she'd start building a network. Your missions tell me that could really come in handy then. But Langley, that's a risky game. This kind of a mission attracts too much attention. Piss off, but then again, fucking carrot. She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself, only parts of it audible. Is it just you, or do her facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Before you make certain it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you, she focuses half of her attention back on you. The other half, of course, is still obsessed with her smartphone. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in, cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand what, me and what I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before I came here, I propose a little game. Hope absentmindedly spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts in her words. Then she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room. You take a look around. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher's room, repurposed to be a living space. The modern computers in front of you starkly contrast the ominous industrial walls. At the back, there's an overwrought bed covered in velvet with meat hooks hanging above. On top of the bed sheets, you notice what seems to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment. And a camera. Wait a minute. You want my help? Moderate my cam show. Cam show? Your eyebrows twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request you expected to hear tonight. She notices your confusion. Take it or leave it, buddy. You just became a kindred. But you want to become my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment. Okay. She's serious. The show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, better walk out the door right now. won't hold a grudge. I've got better things to do. And she doesn't. As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. Now reply typed down with an absurd speed. Tap 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 tap. 9 minutes. It's now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the masquerade. Hi. Content warnings? Oh yes. So, do you take a job?
If I have to. If I have to.
Hope rolls her eyes further back than you thought was possible. If I have to. Not exactly an inspiring person, are you?
Well, you described me well.
She begins to sigh, but stifles it quickly and reflects. Sorry, I get it. You might have gotten a bad first impression of me or whatever. But I promise this will prove surprisingly educational.
Oh, I don't like that wording. Oh, God.
Alright, give me a second. She spends a minute setting up a computer you used before, then urges you to sit down. The explanation of a moderation's functionalities is simple. It boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt the chat, banning anyone who does, and kicking people who's causing minor trouble. 5 minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. It's a sex show, isn't it? Her voice, previously hushed, rings out with full force. How you doing, my hopefuls? You peek at the chat. Oh god. Yeah, I'm not gonna read cringe, okay? I'm not doing this. Ignore kick band. Not 40 queen, fucking no, all's good. You attempted to try out the kick and ban prompts as soon as possible, but obviously you won't punish someone for a little dirty talk. In a camp show? Seriously? Why would you ban anyone for dirty talk? That's like the point. Thank you. Today's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator. And yeah, that. Oh, who? Sorry for sentencing you to death earlier. The community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual. Or maybe Wei and Hope came up with one specially for you. Who knows? You decide to stay silent. Eventually, people stop riffing on you and focus entirely on the star of the show. Alright, let's start with this one with a bang, shall we? Oh god. So, this is where the strip show starts. You raise your head, curious about what kind of performance she's going for. Oh god. First she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable fangs in front of the camera. Right off the bat, the online audience is treated to the side of her wholly human set of teeth turning into a monster's maw. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see, and then bites. The fangs immediately turn her arm into a horrifying gory mess. It's unclear if she used them to slash or bite, but one thing is for sure, an ordinary human could cause such damage. If an ordinary human suffered such a wound, you'd expect a geyser of blood to appear too, but it doesn't. Hope is technically a corpse, so it's impossible. She flashes a monstrous smile and starts smearing VtM all over her hand to maximize the impact of a violent image, and she starts drinking it up. She makes it a point to make the sight as gruesome as possible, looking like a hyena feasting on a corpse. The contrast of her behavior with her look of an Instagram model is stunning. Once she is done, she reveals her wrist to the camera for the last time. She starts making theatrical gestures with her right arm as the wound begins to mend. Shortly after, it's no longer there. It's like a magician trick. Her left hand looks like nothing wrong ever happened to it. Here's an appetizer. First blood to kick off the show. While you're wondering what the hell is going on, Hope catches a glimpse of your bewildered face and turns into your direction. How's that for an opening? This is not a sex show? Yeah, if I were to complain about something, it would be a masquerade, but yeah, let's go with this. Sex? What were you counting on? Me getting naked in front of you or something? Oh, honey, we've just met each other. If you expected a strip show, yeah, sorry to disappoint. This is more like live stream digital art. Erotic subtext is there, of course. You pick at the chat, we're going wild. Okay, blah blah blah, nothing more, blah blah blah. Yeah, nothing disruptive yet. But eroticism is not the key here, it's vampirism. It's a new frontier. Even art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artists kept producing these videotapes of beautiful women committing gory harakiri. Those are an inspiration. Okay, that sounds absolutely disgusting, and I didn't want to know that. She bares her fangs again in a devious grin. But I'm not interested in auto destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of a body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. Oh no, she's gonna use me in the show, isn't she? Oh, I don't like this. The audience came here to marvel at a beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. Madden Wounds is just one of those, where people watching can pay to see more. Oh, and don't worry, the only thing the audience can see and hear are the things I allow them to. You can talk freely, just remember to moderate the chat, will ya? High risk of violence and masquerade, what a joke, she's blatantly breaching it in front of anonymous viewers. Still speechless, you turn your attention to the screen. Mugapa? I don't know what that means. Okay, yeah, let's just let it scroll. Everything friends generous today. Have you planned your next tattoo yet? I'll pay for the next attraction. Looking like pink marshmallow covered in raspberry sauce. Just letting you know you're biased. Nothing disruptive yet. The other guy vent his excitement seems harmless. Special message appears in a chat log, claiming somebody has successfully sponsored the first goal of the show. Hope smiles and picks up a bag of blood from underneath the bed. It must have been retrieved from a blood bank. She showcases a label to the camera for everyone to see. Okay, drink up, drink up, drink up. Hope pours all the contents of a bag into her throat. You have no doubt it's real blood, but wonder why the viewers would be so satisfied with something that's so easy to fake. Don't worry, don't worry, it pays well enough. Don't even bother to tell her this is not what you're thinking about. Safe to assume she knows. So, what do you know about Kindred and the internet? Have they told you anything? They told me very little. While she is waiting for someone to sponsor her next vampiric feat, she decides to start a conversation. Is this the right time? Is there a vampire internet? Find something that looks like vampire internet, stay away. See, some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks, try to build our own information hubs, social networks, everything. She's still working in the phone in one hand while looking for something under the bed with the other. Oh, how many things she can concentrate at one time? On how many things can she concentrate at one time exactly? And one day, the NSA got in. Turns out elders never really got the hang of proper security practices, or the sigils they used to smear on their screens didn't exactly work as advertised.
Oh god. That sounds so dumb. And actually funny.
And, of course, all the three-letter intelligence agencies in the world got the intel, and a lot of them decided bloodsuckers were perfect new enemies for our post-9/11 times. Second Inquisition came into being. Ever heard of it? A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now the remains of our old networks serve as government honeypots, kept alive to attract fledglings and hunt them down. You post a certain keyword on Twitter and Facebook, you get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns, you get tagged for investigation. So there's a certain thrill in becoming an online presence without attracting attention from the authorities. Even if you know all that, what you're doing is basically like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Why would you do that? She stretches on the bed. I hope you're still monitoring the chat. Of course not. You're not as good at dividing your attention as she is. You correct your mistake and check the recent messages. She talking to somebody? Can't wait for the real thing to start. Okay. This two monitors set up rules. Call of Duty on one screen, drop dead hotness on the other screen. But the woman I don't hate. Hope more like my favorite hoe. Okay, you know what, I wanna ban that guy. Or maybe kick? Let's kick him. You give the guy a kick. Get yourself a normal nickname, douchebag. After 10 seconds he's back with the same handle. Time for the decision. Ignore or ban. Ban? This kind of nickname only suggests trouble. You get rid of them permanently. Good job. She's keeping close tabs on you. Anyway, yeah. When Nosferatu admitted to Camarillo their networks got compromised, the elders went batshit insane. Internet communications became strictly forbidden. There were executions. A lot of people who use social media to secretly contact their mortal families and lovers got offed. That goes without saying. But if you weren't careful, even the most innocent web usage could result in being punished with final death. Thanks to user Dick Steele. Next goal has just gotten successfully funded. Let's go, vanish and act, dehumanize yourself and face the bloodshed. She raises her hand, 3 fingers up, 2 fingers up, 3 fingers up, 2 fingers up, 1 finger up. The countdown ends and she immediately disappears from screen like a ghost. You can still see her on the bed, but the live feed indicates there's nobody there. When you deeply focus on the digital image, you swear you can make out some unusual glitchings where her silhouette should be, but it could very well be just a placebo. You ready for this? 3, 2, 1. A flash of a camera. Instant she reappears on the screen, she takes a selfie, sticking out her tongue in a provocative manner. The chat room explodes and cheers again. She is their vampire queen. You briefly wonder about her being glued to a screen. Is this the fantasy everyone is here for? A girl showing off cheap magic tricks while lazily browsing her social media. You realize you are way out of your depth here. Meanwhile, Hope decides to continue her lecture. Well, still I'm very much happy this is not what I thought it would be. Ritual sexual mutilation, and I would not have been happy with gory details of such a thing. Well, those are some wild times, especially in New York. Well, most of them have no clue as to our real nature. A lot of clandestine organizations have classified us as national threats, and since this is where the tower fell, agencies are very much present around here, especially looking for easy PR victories. Last SI raid here was just a few years ago, and it was a big one. Stirred up a hornet's nest something fierce. Okay, I should stop thinking about our stuff. But although it's 2019, NYC is ruled by someone who got embraced before World War II, and the cam as a whole got really spooked and swore off the internet. Of course, they're not dumb and understand that you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's a grey zone right now, like piracy, technically frowned upon, but let one without sin cast a first stone. ASI is a real threat, not joke, but in many senses the darkest place is right under the candle. Take another look at the screen. Does that mean SI is actually other vampires? To some degree? You want blood? How about some bad stuff? Can you do some bad stuff? Can you show us the next time? It's been a long hard day, please give me a shout out. I mean, a nickname pops up. God damn it. Okay. Come on, even I did something like that in chats. It's completely fine. This guy seems to be having the time of his life. Good on you, buddy. You're just going to let this guy shit to chat? Come on, it's your job to react to spam. She lets out a dejected sigh and kicks the guy out from the room herself. Can't imagine she's too satisfied with how you handle the situation. The show goes on. Come on, that's too high standards. Oh yeah, fun fact about being a vampire. We can sweat and pee if we just exert ourselves really hard. Some of us can even orgasm. We can even cry, but only tears of blood.
So, turns out I looked up some more info about this very fact, and turns out they actually can have sex. But only some. For example, Sophie and Kadir, their clan, but I don't think other clans are actually capable of that. In any case,
it's something I always dreamed to do when I was 14. So romantic, it drives them crazy.
Game, hello? Yeah. Okay. As a proof of her words, a scarlet tear starts running down her face. The chat goes wild. This seems to be exactly the kind of thing we've been waiting for. She did again, beautiful. Beatific. Okay. Hope your tortured soul finds some calm eventually. Can you imagine the USA some blood-sucking squad that would cruise a second, blah 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 blah. I don't like it. Can I ban that guy? Okay, you know what, let's go with kick.
Just to be clear, you realize what we're doing here is a blatant breach of a masquerade, right?
Yeah, I do.
I honestly expected you to leave or inform somebody by now, but you haven't, have you?
I think you would have noticed. You try to focus on the chat. A familiar nickname is displayed on the screen. Oh, that guy again. Okay, sure thing, buddy. Kick him again. I think you're supposed to do 3 strikes and you're out, so that's strike 2. One more kick, one more familiar message. Very well, ban it is. You double check what's the same message he sent out the last time. Is he copy-pasting it or something? Okay, fine. Looks like Mr. Masochist needs a longer break. After you ban him, you hear Hope's voice. Hope's.
Good job handling that guy.
Great. If nothing else works out, seems like you fit this job at least.
In any case,
The last girl has just been funded.
it's time for a great finale. This is what you've all been waiting for, right?
Yes, yes, Queen, yes, Queen, yes, Queen. Her voice has changed. She gets closer to the camera, letting her face fill the frame of a live feed. Her mesmerizing eyes are focused purely on the viewers.
You wanted blood? Come out into the streets, claw out your neighbors' throats, slash their veins and drink up.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. Hope's presence becomes absolutely horrifying, and it influences the chat in some incomprehensible way. Everyone starts typing like they were possessed.
Liberate yourselves from the shackles of ordinary morality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails.
Oh, now everyone is talking like that. What the hell is she doing to these people? What have you gotten yourself into? It's actually one of the powers of the Malkavians. They can make people basically go crazy.
Transcend your bodies. Release the message of hope into the world.
She starts jerking violently for a second and then falls down on the bed like a marionette that had just its strings severed. She exhales loudly a few times and laughs. When she does, the room goes dark again.
Alright, that's enough.
Instead of taking the last shot, she does something with her phone. The stream ends and the chat instantly becomes dead quiet.
Let me take over.
The atmosphere in the room has completely changed. She's already put herself together and stood up. Now she's walking toward you.
What the fuck just happened? Guess the show is over. Everyone relax and go home. And I was almost ready to come, bros. Hosta, just swear on my father's grave, one day I will find you and kick the ever-living shit out of you.
I'm assuming she's reading that out. After every line she delivers, she changes her voice. Okay, I could have used that before I did that, but okay. The way she puts her lips together, and even the way she moves. You've got glimpses of her acting this way, but only now have you started to figure it out. I'll just... It was her all along? Wait a minute, does that mean...
I'm immortal, I'm bored, I'm separated from the most vampires in the city by a generational chasm, and I'm so goddamn lonely. The internet used to be my only friend. Years ago I started researching tulpas, collective unconsciousness, all the mumbo-jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality, and I decided to experiment.
The show was fake.
A few years later, I was an Instagram fashionista, successful erotic model, a vital part of pop culture commentariat, a viral shitposter, a cryptocurrency expert.
All my internet selves started signal boosting each other, paving the way for the new ones. I became one-woman empire, surrounded by a legion of psycho fans.
The chat was fake. Some of you may think of it as a dissociative identity disorder, but that's bullshit. Everyone has online alter egos they buried. I just resurrected them, gave birth to new ones, and let them crossbreed. Her constant tapping at her phone even during the show, somehow she's capable of impersonating an entire chat room.
I don't even have a self that can dissociate or be mentally ill. I'm a host, a living database. I live because I find it fun to be an information conduit, to process trends and support the ones I deem warpy.
There was no masquerade violation, she was showing off her skills all along. She puts you into a world of pure fiction. Well, the same way she was testing you back when she attacked you from the back. Damn, she's good at this.
Of course you can just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkavian. But hey, annihilation of self is the only way to survive in the 21st century.
If there ever was an era that demanded images of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same, it's this one.
Although for now, speaking of masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Speaking of, you want to be the star of my next movie?
No. Let's go with this.
Need some time to mull it over? Sure.
No, sorry to disappoint.
But yeah, your test is over. Now the question is, do I want to work with you?
She puts away her phone for the first time since you've met her and gives you a good hard look.
I guess I can give it a shot, yeah. You're not that dumb, you're not that boring, and you're kind of cute. Oh my. Don't worry, no more modern jobs. Let's get attached. And that's always bad news.
She grabs your arm and starts leading you out of the room.
I've put you through enough shit. Next time I'll let you in on a little job I'm doing. We'll hit the streets and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me.
Huh. She leads you through a labyrinth of grey corridors. It's a different route than the one you made your way through in.
The city is so much more than what its elites consider real. Stick with me and I'll guide you places Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years.
She leads you out of the building into the back alleys.
Even if someone else rules the streets, we will rule the information highways. This is the power of hope.
She lets out a theatrical laugh and disappears. You don't notice when she leaves you alone, but you assume everything went as well as it could. A new ally, the power of hope. As you walk off into the night, everything around you feels a little less tangible than it did a few hours ago.